Hello makers, welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, spinning, and all the yarny goodness in between. I'm Lindsay and I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Before we get into it, just a reminder of current make-alongs going on. Hashtag Nothing But Double is a make-along I'm doing with my friend Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. And you just have to hold yarn double and make a blanket. You can use that hashtag or go to Arkansas Yarn Co.'s Ravelry group page to post a picture. And hashtag It's Marling Darling goes through the end of this month, June. And that is similar to Make It Double, but you have to hold two different yarns together, whether they're the same weight and different colors, or two different weights held together, and you could make pretty much any project. And I will be pulling a prize or two from that at the end of the month. So use the hashtag or go to my Ravelry group page. All right, well, welcome. This is episode 39. Today is June 9th, and yeah, it's kind of a cloudy day here. It rained a bit this morning. We would have been better off if it rained all day because we need it so badly, but I'll take what I can get. So, if you are new here, I name all of my episode titles by a song that I love and find appropriate for that week's making, and I love all kinds of music. So this week, I chose the song Let It Whip by the Dazz Band, an old jam. Because I have lots of whips, and I have 3 new whips since I've last seen you. So I thought that was appropriate. I do have a playlist associated with these song titles on Spotify. So I have that listed below where you can go and listen to this week's song, as well as all the other songs that I have named my podcast after. All right, so this week, I have a couple of finished objects. I have, like I said, 3 new cast on, some whips, some spinning, some acquisition future makes, and then we'll talk goals on did I make my May goals and what are my June goals. So let's get into it. So what I'm wearing / my first finished object is the Thunder Road by the Poison Grrrls. Talk more about it later because it was a goal for May. And I'll take this off. I put it on just so I wouldn't forget to talk about it, honestly. So this is like a little shrug bolero type thing. Talked about it in the last few podcasts. Really cute. Obviously the back, and then I had talked pretty much in detail about this, picking up the stitches for the arm. But yeah, it's very comfortable. It is made out of Malabrigo Verdana, which is their cotton, in the colorway Lemon Wedge. And I like it. I don't think I'll be making a second one. There's a couple other shrug / bolero type of garments that I also have in my queue, so I want to try a couple different ones to see if there's one that I really love. But I have worn this a few times, and I will definitely get wear out of it. So I'm glad this one is done. My other finished object is a new cast on since you last saw me. It's a small object, but everything counts. You know what I mean? So I did a Tunisian crochet washcloth. This is a free pattern by Purl Soho, but I forgot, as far as acquisitions, I need to pull these out. I got some Tunisian crochet hooks, and I really wanted to practice. And Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. had been mentioning that they've really been wanting to have a Tunisian crochet class, but none of them do it. So I said, well, you know what? I have this cotton. Is Queensland cotton, coastal cotton. It was left over from my Seven Sisters top that I made. So I got this from Arkansas Yarn Co. This is literally what was left. I basically kept going until I was done. And I'm like, let me just see how it works up in cotton, and maybe with the basic stitch we can do a class. So that's what I did. Now the Purl Soho free pattern, it tells you to cast on, well, this many stitches, or, which I think is really, I guess, you know, maybe you like that if you're, depends if you're using it, I guess, for a washcloth or a dishcloth. But I think for a washcloth, I would do maybe half. I don't know. So anyway, so this is just a Tunisian, like, simple stitch and return pass. So you can see the patterning there. Here's the back side of it. But it's really, it has a really nice texture to it. I love this. So again, free pattern. I just used some scraps cotton to do this, and it was really, really quick. And I love the texture. So if you are semi-local to me in Arkansas, we will be tentatively having the Tunisian crochet class on Saturday, August 5th. So it's not up on the website yet. Just kind of talked with Lori about it and was planning a day. It'll be after the yarn crawl's over. And so yeah, so we will make these. And if you master that, I was going to go one more stitch after that, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, if you want to learn to do simple Tunisian crochet. Okay, that is all my finished objects. Not a lot, but that's okay. So I have, besides that washcloth, I have 3 new cast-ons. So this first one is the most exciting. So this is a sample knit I'm doing. So I want to talk briefly about what is a sample knit. Probably most of you know, or you've heard of test knit. What is a sample knit versus a test knit? So a sample knit is usually when, for instance, a dyer or even a yarn store owner needs some products knit or crocheted up so that they can show off in their store or, you know, at a yarn event to show off their yarn, so that people will be more willing to buy it because they see it knit up. So what they do for a sample knit is, in this case, I'm doing a sample knit where they provide you with the pattern they want you to make. They provide you with the yarn and the colors that they want to use. You make it up, and then you don't get to keep the product. So you get to try out their yarn, which is awesome, but you send the product back to them. That is theirs. And then they usually either give you a store credit or the same amount of skeins back in their yarn as your payment or thank you for making said item. So a test knit is when it's a new pattern coming out where you are literally testing the pattern. You get the pattern for free. You use your own yarn that you've purchased or have in stash, and then you get to keep the item, but you don't get paid. You basically get the free pattern, but you get to knit it or crochet it before everyone else gets to. So I am doing a sample knit. Argyle Yarn Shop in Brooklyn, New York, had put a call on Instagram that they basically put a list out of these are all the items we need knit and crochet up. So please, if you're interested, pick out 2, put your first choice, put your second choice, and email us, and we'll let you know. So a week later, I got notified that I was making the pressed flower shawl. I know you guys have heard of this shawl, because when it first came out, everybody was making it, and now it is in a hat, a cardigan, and I think a pullover sweater also. So I have been wanting to make this shawl for quite a while, but it calls, I think basically you would need 5 skeins of DK yarn, which I just don't have in my stash to go together. 2 different colors. So I have it stored. I got out my old Paradise Island bag. This had been holding my Stephen West Batad cowl that I have not worked on. I'm like, I'm going to switch the bags out. So I haven't used this in a long time. And link to her shop is below. So let's talk about the yarn I'm using. So Argyle Yarn Shop is owned by the dyer of this yarn, which is Luminous Brooklyn. So I am using the Dazzling DK weight. It is 100% merino wool, superwash. And I am using the colors Walnut and Roseland. Pretty. So now these two colors may not, like just be like really brown, but if you know the pressed flower shawl, what this does, and this is a mosaic knitting, so it's not color work. So that awesome orange, coral, pink yarn is just shining through that brown, and it's looking fabulous. I love it so much. It is so fun to kind of watch it unfold. Again, this is not color work. So here's the back. There's no floats you're carrying. If you've never done mosaic knitting, you're only ever working with one color. So since this is knit flat, so where I'm at now, I can tell that the last row I knit was brown because I had like the most stitches in that. So I know next I'm going to be working the pink. So I will knit my stitches. I will follow there's charts in this. And when I get to the brown ones, it just will have me slip certain ones so that I keep that. And then, so I'll work 2 rows of each color and then just go back and forth. It's pretty easy. Oh, I just love this color for like those flowers coming out. It's so good. I'm so excited to finally be doing this pattern. And then I have been eyeballing this yarn for a while. So if you can find yourself someone who needs a sample knitter, I definitely suggest it. Because like I said, I hadn't bought the Pressed Flowers shawl yet because I loved it, but I'm like, I didn't know if I wanted to commit that much yarn. And maybe I will knit this up, and even though I love it, I might be like, I'm not buying 5 skeins of DK for that. Like, it's beautiful. I enjoyed making it, but I'm not going to wear it. So I still get to the joy of knitting it up and trying a new to me yarn. And then in the end, once I've sent the product back, I will get to pick her yarn in whatever color I want. So it'll be a good opportunity to figure out if I want to make one of these and I can get the yarn to do so. Or if I just want, what would be a sweater quantity for me to make something else. So super excited about that. As with test knits, sample knits also usually have a due date. So I have to be done with that by July 15th. So I don't think that'll be a problem. The only thing I will say about this pattern, it's not hard, but it's a pretty big chart. And then also there's like the beginning and end stitches of each row are a little bit different for 4 different rounds. And so like you have to look at the row you're on, what do I do at the beginning, what do I do at the end, and look at the chart. So it seems as of right now, maybe it'll get more intuitive as I go along, but right now it seems like it's best working it at my desk because I can have my chart holder up. I can have my pattern also close by. It's not for me, take it to someone's house, take it out of the house to work on. Like I need space to set up my system. So I'm hoping to get a lot done this weekend on it though. So that will probably be what I work on the rest of the day today. But it is super fun to kind of watch those flowers come out. All right. I have worked on or cast on 2 other things. So this is in my Fringe Supply go bag, which this one was in. Finished that and started something new. And I think I actually talked about this pattern the last episode when I talked about my future makes. This is also Tunisian crochet. This is a free pattern. I have to unwind all the yarn from my cord here. This is from Toni Lipsey, who is TL Yarn Crafts. And this was part of her Crochet Academy, like free online course. Sorry, I dropped my crochet hook. And this is one of the patterns that came out with that. So this is the Aruba tank or tunic. Aruba tunic. I keep calling it Aruba tank. So let me see. So again, this is a free pattern. So let me get up a picture here. So it's essentially a swimsuit cover-up. But I mean, you could wear a full tank top underneath and just wear it over that. So yeah, this looks super awkward right now. It is a giant strip. So let me just make sure I'm not going to lose. Yeah, my hook was in there, so I've already like lost stitches, but it's okay. All right, so here's kind of what we're looking at all the way across. I'm working with two colors. I got the same like minty green that was in the pattern picture, but then I decided to get this hot magenta. And I don't have the tags in here, but this is Coboo yarn. And so the green is Lichen and the pink is magenta. So right now this is a giant strip. And like me, you might be wondering, what in the heck? How? That is like way too long. You do it in two pieces and you seam it up. But it's not just two long pieces. So how it goes is it's going to go like this and then be made an opening for your neck head right here. So I'll show you again, free pattern. So that's what it's going to look like when you seam it up together. So it basically just goes right under your bum. And it is so much fun. I am enjoying the Tunisian crochet so much. It, for me, now this is the third Tunisian crochet pattern I've ever cast on. For me, the hardest part is the beginning. After you chain, so to start Tunisian crochet, you chain just like crochet. That part's easy. But then you have to crochet through the back little loops. So behind basically like the V stitches, there's a bump and you have to pick up through each of those. And I don't know why, if it's just like the way I'm holding the hook. I'm trying to pick up these stitches while I'm sitting here because it's going to bug me if I don't. I don't know if it's the way I'm holding the hook or what it is exactly about it, but I really have a hard time getting into those stitches. It really takes me some concentration to do. So that's again why the class I'm going to be teaching, we're going to start off with a small number of stitches. That first part of getting into the stitches to me is the worst part. After that, the way you pick up Tunisian crochet stitches when you're working on it is so easy and usually just glides right through the stitches. So super fun. Definitely suggest it. If you want to learn more about Tunisian crochet, definitely check out TL Yarn Crafts on YouTube because she is the crochet queen. So anyway, so let me finish doing this real quick. All right. I've secured them back on my hook. That was going to drive me crazy if I didn't do that right away. So I think I finished talking about that. So that is super fun. You'll notice in this week's episode of the other, I've touched a lot of my other projects, which, you know, we'll go into, but most of my work the last week and a half has been all on everything new I've cast on. So not only is it new to you, but I actually have spent the most time on those things because they're so much fun. All right, so I have cast on one other thing. And again, this has been previously mentioned that I was going to cast this on, and I did. This is in my Care Bears bag. This is by Knit for Brains, Laura. And it is another Streamline tee tank top. Oh, I don't know why I'm not calling things correctly today. So I have previously made this in Bamboo Pop in a blue color. And I am making this again in a Bamboo Pop. This only called for, I only used 2 of these. Let's see, I have a full one right here. So this is it. It's Bamboo Pop. It's 50% cotton, 50% bamboo. And it has 292 yards per 100 gram here. So the last one I only used 2 for a tank top. And I'll put in a picture. And this one I decided to try to not do the detail that comes down the front. This one you knit flat 2 pieces, seam up the side. So I'm doing that. I just started the armhole shaping. So I'm decreasing right now. You can't even tell, like I think I've done 2 rows of decreases. So yeah, but otherwise the body is done for 1 piece. And so normally you would have this patterning start. And although the patterning I'm not bothered by it, but I thought it would be more of a everyday tank top, more my style without the patterning. I still did the side patterning here. There's 6 stitches on each side. I love that, but I just am not doing it. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it on the front. So you basically just make 2 identical patterns. So the first one I did as to pattern, and I did that detail on the front and the back. This one, I thought at least on the back I didn't want to have it. I would maybe just do it on the front, but I'm kind of thinking of not doing it at all. So we'll see. I haven't decided yet, but for this will be the back, and I'm not doing it at all. So I am decreasing, and then I'll be starting the top here. And yeah, this one is going fast. So obviously I think I cast on maybe the day after the last podcast. I put on a stitch marker. But yeah, I love it. And this colorway is Winter Squash. And this is such an affordable and summery. It's a great summer yarn to use, but it also is super affordable. This ball, I got it at Arkansas Yarn Co. and it was $9.50. So for under 20 bucks, you can make a nice, light, breezy tank top. So I haven't made a lot of things more than once, even though I'd like to. I'd love another weekender. I'd love another boxy sweater. But you know that if I'm making it more than once, I really love to wear the first one. So that is the case with this. So yeah, that one I put a lot of work into just because I really, really want it. And it's super easy. Now this one I can take out of the house because I'm just doing that flat panel back and forth. And it's very, very easy. All right, so that is all my cast-ons. I went a little crazy with the new cast-ons. So now we'll go through the other things that I've worked on, things that you've already seen, and I will warn you, it may be a little boring. We're going to go through them pretty fast because even though I've touched them all, I haven't made a ton of progress. So they probably look about the same. So first, I will do these. This is in a bag from Black Pearl Magic. And this is socks for my friend Scott. The yarn is Mustache Yarns. This is a Star Wars inspired colorway. And I've pretty much finished one sock. I have not done the afterthought heel, but otherwise the sock is done. So I think this was done last time I showed it. I have markers where I stopped the ribbing and a marker where I'm pretty sure I'm putting in the afterthought heel, but I want to make sure that's right. So I thought I would just knit the other one first. So basically the other day, all I did was cast on. I do cuff down, and because I love having a sock sometimes like that tank top, even though I said I've been taking that places, once I get into this part, I might be too fussy to worry about. So I like having a sock to take everywhere. Plus it's a small bag I can throw in my purse. So I cast it on just so that the hard part was done essentially. So not much to see here. I'm enjoying these. Oh, and if you're new, what I did was they're just vanilla. I'm not using a pattern. I did 1 by 1 rib at the top. And the reason I did that is because I've never made socks for my friend Scott. And so I decided to do a 3 by 1 rib throughout. And that 1 by 1 rib goes right into the 3 by 1 really nicely. I wanted them to be extra stretchy, so no matter what, they would fit him nicely. So, yeah. So, cast on the second pair, or the second sock for that pair. And then I worked a tad bit on my Opal tee. I had just cast this on last podcast. And this is also by Two of Wands, who does the Streamline tee that I just showed. This one I've never made before. And this is the one I am using yarn that I frogged for my husband's sweater I frogged a year ago. And so it's all wrinkly and crinkly. Doesn't look like much. But you see the marker where I was last time. So I made a little bit of progress. This is the Opal tank by Two of Wands, who is Alexandra Tavel. And the yarn I'm using is Gloss DK from Knit Picks. And this is the color River Rock. So again, this, like the other one, is knit in pieces and then seamed. Doesn't bother me. Although the other day I kind of had a revelation that I was only making garments flat. And I thought that was kind of funny. It doesn't bother me, the purling. But the other day I was like, oh, let me pick up a sweater I'm going in the round. And then I'm like, wait, I have none. I'm looking at everything on my cart. I think everything besides those socks is knit flat, which is funny. I didn't do that on purpose. This is in a bag by Kelly E. McD. She doesn't have a website. She just uses Instagram. Oh, I see I have... Is that a stain on there? Maybe. But anyways, she just has an Instagram, so I have linked to that below. Okay, 2 more projects I've touched. This is in another Black Pearl Magic bag. And this one is a design I'm playing with. This is minis using from Spotted Circus. And then a skein of undyed yarn I just got from Lori. So I am playing with a mosaic pattern. I am just doing 5 inches of color and then switching to the next color. And I'm not, this might be the last time you see this for a while, just because I have some different thoughts on it. So I'm going to be playing with it, but I feel like I don't want to show it every time. But there's no question, I love the mosaic. I love the patterning. I love the switching colors. And even though I wrote down, of course, what I've done, this I don't even have to think about. I literally pick up, I can see by what colors I used last and how many stitches of each color, I know exactly what the next row is. So I love working on this. But right now, I want all these tank tops, and so this is an item that I'm not going to use anytime soon. I'm not going to stop working on it. I'm just going to work on it when I want to. So, yeah. So this one you might not see for a while, but next time you see it, hopefully there'll be a lot of progress on it. So, yeah. All right. Last project, last whip of the day is in my Knick-Knack Knits bag. This is one you guys have seen many times. It's going to take me forever to finish this, but it's okay. This is the La Mana Luxury Cardigan. And again, it's fabulous. It's awesome. It takes me forever, but I want this product. This is a cardigan, so you can see where the ends are, the sides. We're going to flip around. I am using Arkansas Yarn Co. You can see where I was last time. Not very far. Arkansas Yarn Co. I am using her Surrey Silk Base and her Yummy Sparkle Base, both in the color Graphite. I love it. I want it for fall, so I am just tinkering away at it. It's super soft, awesome. It is a free pattern. Having said that, though, it's not the best written. Again, I'm only so far, so I can't even tell you how it is at the top, but the beginning, just the way it was written, you kind of have to like figure some things out what she's talking about. But I love that cardigan. So that is all of my whips. What is next? All right, let's take a moment to talk about spinning. All right, so I am not sure if I talked about this last time, but it's in my, I keep a bag where I keep acquisitions in to show that I got from the Modern Skein. My dog is now up here by the blinds making noise. It's just craziness today. Anyways, I don't know if I showed this or not, but I had put this in my bag. It needs washed yet, so it looks like an extra hot mess. But I did, this is a single ply because this is when I was having an issue spinning. And so I decided I wasn't even plying it because I was having a hard time. This ended up being 380 yards, 50 grams. I don't know, there's no colorway because I get it from Gritty Knits, her Mystery Bat Club, and I don't have a colorway, but it is an extra hot mess because it needs wash, so it'll even out a little bit more from that. Also, I haven't even skeined it up yet, so if you've been around for a while, this is pure alpaca from an alpaca farm in Iowa, close to where I grew up, and I have made a few skeins of it before, and then I ended up buying some more to spin up. And so this has been sitting on my bobbins for a while waiting to get plied. So I finally plied them together, but I have not even figured out yardage or anything, but it looks really pretty. So yeah, that is it. Oh, I did do a little bit more spinning. It's kind of hard to show. We're going to go into acquisitions here soon. But I am spinning up basically some of my Rolags in this beautiful blue color. This is from the Woolly Witch, and this is Sapphire Skies. And I don't even know if I can show this to you. There it is. It matches my e-spinner. So I'll go ahead and pull this out. So yeah, that's where I've gotten so far on the first bobbin there. So the last thing I want to mention about spinning is Tour de Fleece. Are there any spinners watching? Have you done it before? For people that are not spinners but are just interested in hearing about it, so Tour de Fleece, what little I have researched so far, is, of course, you know what Tour de France is. It's a yearly event in France. Bike riders go and compete. So Tour de Fleece is a yarn spinning event that happens during the Tour de France. So the little information I have found out, and if you know more, and correct me if I'm wrong, this year the Tour de France is July 1st through the 23rd. There's 2 Mondays that they have off as a rest day. So what I understand is the goal is to spin every day during the Tour de France, except you can take breaks on their rest days. So you're resting the same days they are. They're spinning bikes, you're spinning yarn. And then they actually come out with a calendar where it kind of shows you where they're riding, like generalized, like they're riding a hill the first day. Are they riding flat? Are they riding in a mountain? The days that they're riding in mountains, you are supposed to give yourself a challenge, whether it's you spin longer that day, you spin a new to you type of fleece, some kind of personal challenge on the days that they ride in the mountains. So that's pretty much it. Now, if you are hardcore into it, from what I understand, you can find a team to join and make it a competitive thing per teams. I'm guessing how much everybody spins, but I don't know. So I just learned to spin last summer. I'm still very much learning, but I'm enjoying it and I'm trying to do it more. So for me, this year, what I plan to do is just make it a goal to spin every day. I do want to keep track of how much I spin, so I want to make sure that July 1st, when I start, I'm not going to spin on something I already have on my bobbin. I'm going to spin something fresh so I can keep track of exactly how many ounces, yards I make from it. So I want to try to complete as many yarn skeins from fleeces, from fiber that I have. So that's my own personal goal. I'm not joining a team, but I'm really excited. In fact, I ordered some swag. I have a Tour de Fleece tank top coming. So I'm really excited. I want to know if there's anyone else doing it, if you've done it before. I joined a community on Facebook that just has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of members, just kind of encouraging each other. They're showing pictures of what they plan on spinning. And I figured it's a good way, too, for me to kind of get through a lot of the fiber I have, because I don't want to stop getting the Gritty Knits mystery bats because they're stunning, but I need to catch up. So I figured this was a great goal for me. So we'll see how much knitting I get done in July. It might be a lot more spinning, but that also means I need good suggestions of patterns I can use my hand spun with. Because after I, of course, spin all the yarn, then I need to knit it up, right? So I'm really, really excited about that. All right, so let's get into acquisitions, future makes. So while I was talking about the spinner, I got this bag. It's not really yarny related except for what I'm using it. So yesterday I took my daughter shopping, and she loves going to Clothes Mentor, which, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially like a secondhand store, but they're very picky about the brands and what they take in. So it's kind of like a step up from Goodwill. And I found this bag. It is a Vera Bradley bag, and I got it for $20. So I have been looking for a bag to store my e-spinner in, especially when I'm traveling or if I want to take it to the yarn store. Previously, when I've traveled up to Iowa and I've taken this before, I bring it on my IKEA cart. But, I mean, this is all connected. But, like, it has, like, this little part that's a magnet. It's a pretty strong magnet, but it could come loose. And then what do? So I wanted somewhere secure to be able to carry this with me and not miss out pieces. So this I thought was a great choice. I didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. I didn't want something so fancy. This, even though it's, you know, kind of a squishy bag, it does have a nice rectangle bottom. So it sits nicely in there. This is my battery, so I don't have to plug into the wall when I use my spinner. So that was fitting in there. And then there is some little pockets up front. And I still had room for bobbins. And the greatest thing to me is that it can zip up, because if there's any little bits and bobs in there and they kind of mess around your car during travel, I'm not going to lose anything. So I was super excited for this. Again, not super fancy, but I mean, was definitely the right price for what I wanted to get. It's kind of awkward getting in there though, because of this thing. Okay, I'm going to do that in a minute. So yeah, not really yarn related, except for I'm kind of using it to be yarn related. So, put this away. Other acquisitions I got. All right. Last time I had mentioned that this was coming. Speaking of gritty knits, I had said that I had joined her subscription, which is on Instagram. So if you follow Gritty Knits on Instagram, her little profile page, it'll talk about subscriptions. And she did a dyeing session live just for subscribers. And here is the yarn. It is all over the place, funky, bright. I love it so much. So I am going to be making, I forgot to write down the bag in my notes, but I will put a picture up. It is a free pattern by Purl Soho. It's just a little market bag. And before I bought this, I'm like, okay, I don't want a ton of skeins, but I would like this special skein as the first exclusive for members. And so I found this pattern where I should be able to make the bag with one skein. Yeah, and it's just called 5/20/23 Live. So, yes, love it. Another thing I had ordered a while back was, as you've seen today, I'm a sucker for the Black Pearl Magic bags. I don't know who isn't, honestly. And her bags are not easy to get. Usually you have to get in on some pre-order, either on her own website or both of the ones I've showed were with like kits of yarn from different other websites that I got it from. And that is the case here. I got in on Madeline Tosh was having a special, this is their May colorway. So I got this skein of yarn, which is called Discotheque. This is this the Tosh Light? Yeah. So yeah, I got this skein of yarn. And then I got this bag. And I don't know how much it's going to be able to see it. Can you see that it's unicorns? It's just a little box bag with this fancy zipper. And it's gorgeous. You can see it glimmering back at you on the inside. So yeah, I got that from Madeline Tosh. It was a special thing. It was for the month of May. And it sold out pretty quickly. But super, super cute. All right. What else did I get? Okay, I ordered some things from Knit Picks. So first of all, I knew I was starting that Aruba tunic. And I thought about just buying the Tunisian crochet hook and just getting the one. But then I remember, you know, with knitting, I spent so many money all those years of single buying each thing I needed. And I thought, you know what, if I can find a reasonable Tunisian crochet set, then I should just get an interchangeable set and just have it. So I got Knit Picks. It's called We Crochet because that's their We Crochet is the crochet store of knit picks, but it's the same brand. So this is a Tunisian crochet. You see I have my one missing that I'm using for the tunic. But it comes with the cables and the stoppers. And so I'm enjoying that. And then I also bought one skein of yarn for that Opal tank, which was the River Rock, the blue, because when I frogged my husband's sweater, I calculated how much yardage I had, and I was going to need one more skein for the tank top. So I bought one of those, because if you're going to order through Knit Picks, then order everything that you need. So I did that. And then I didn't mention, so last week it was Memorial Day here in the States, and it was a day off, and I had mentioned that I was going to do like an organizing day. Did the organizing day, and went through some yarn, went through books, stuff like that. And I had found I have a bunch of this yarn. I don't remember what I was going to use this for. So this is Knit Picks Cotton. It is cotton linen, 70% cotton, 30% linen, 50-gram ball. And this is in the colorway Dazzling, the dark beige color. And even though, you know, it's not an exciting color, I thought, man, I had like 8 skeins of this. And I'm like, man, I'd be ashamed to get rid of it when I would like to try this yarn. I remember when I bought it originally for whatever, I wanted to try this yarn. So I kind of looked through some patterns, you know, if there was anything on my queue that I wanted to make. And I came up with the Farnham tee by Knit Purl Girl. And that one has stripes. So I had plenty of this for it, but I needed a color to stripe it in. So I went online and I went with this. And I ordered 3 balls of this. And I think that'll look nice together. This is in the colorway Surf. So yeah, that will be a future make down the line. All right, the last thing I got from Knit Picks, and I'm really excited about this, I haven't dove in fully, is a stitch dictionary. I have had this one kind of on my wish list for a little while, and y'all know I watch so many podcasts, and so sometimes I forget where I've seen or heard things. But a podcast I just watched a couple weeks ago or a week ago, they got a viewer question on what stitch dictionaries did they like. And it was so funny. They're like, I have 4. I feel like it was Devin from Knitting McPurley, but don't quote me on that. She said that she had 4 different stitch dictionaries. And of the 4 she showed, I had 3 of them, and the other one was this one. So I thought it was hilarious that it was like the same 4. Which, by the way, I think it was the big Vogue Knitting Stitch Dictionary. This one here, 400 stitches. I can't remember. I think it was maybe the alternate, which this is mainly just color work stitch dictionary. And this one. So this is the one I just got. And this is called the Ultimate All-Around Stitch Dictionary. And if you're like me, when you've looked for these type of books before, you're like, especially if you're looking online, like if your local library and your local bookstores don't have these in stock, you're looking online, but you can't really see inside. So you're like, I don't know what the difference is. You're kind of almost going by, oh, how many does it have? You know, I'm guessing that one's better because there's more of them. This one is super cool and like no other one I've seen. So the thing that makes this one cool is, you notice here, it has these little keys for if it's worked flat or in the round. So literally, this book says for knitting top down, bottom up, back and forth, and in the round. And you go a little further into like a more complicated stitch. There was one I saw the other day that was just crazy, all the options they have. I just think it's cool that there's just so many options. That they have it flat and in the round is so neat, because if you're using this especially to design, whether it's just to design for yourself or to make a design to eventually sell, that is such great information to have, I think. So like I said, I haven't used this book. I was just looking through it, and it is just so interesting to me. So yeah, they even, oh, here it is. They have not just in the round and flat. So like here's one where they have bottom up flat, top down flat, bottom up in the round, top down in the round. Like, that's fantastic. So I definitely suggest this book. This is going to be a great resource. I'm really excited to use this. So that was my Knit Picks haul. So I think that is it. So let's just quickly talk about goals. So what were my goals for last year? Well, last month. Last month, I was going to finish my Thunder Road, and guess what? I finished it before the end of May. So that was, yes, check. Catch up on my Chevron Fade blanket, which is the make-along I'm doing with Lori. I got caught up on that, so I'm good to go. I need to do June yet. So the other goal I had was to finish my outline tank. And again, if you watched last week, you know I talked about when I organized, I was going to frog some things. And that one, y'all, got frogged. I am not making the outline tank. I have no desire to make the outline tank. I'm going to use that hand spun yarn for something else. And I am okay with it. All right, so my yarn in for the month of May was 18 skeins. My yarn out was 27 skeins. So that brings my totals year to date as 79 in and 91 out. So as of right now, I still have more out than in, which is awesome. I did frog 3 projects last week. The sweater I had mentioned that has been sitting in my closet, still unfrogged, just because I ran out of steam. Like by the time frogging was the last thing I did, I was doing the organizing and stuff, and I was doing some hardcore cleaning out, and I frogged 3 things, and then at the end of the day, I was just done. Like, you know, if you've ever reorganized where you have to make like a huge mess first before you put it away, by the time you put it away, you're like, I'm done. I actually, that day, I didn't knit, crochet, spin a thing. I was pooped. I started immediately the beginning of my day organizing. Took me most of the day, and I did not feel like knitting a thing. So, which was really funny. But yeah, I got a lot done, organized, feel really good about that. So my June goals, still my Lamana, I would like to do that 30 minutes a day just to keep ticking progress on that. The pressed flowers shawl, I would love to finish that by the end of the month, but I mean, I have to finish it by July 15th, but I would like to be ahead of the game on that instead of it. And I would like to, I just put finish a tank because I have 2 tanks going. It probably will be my Streamline tank because that one's almost halfway done already. And that one just seems, I love working with that bamboo pop. It's so light in your hands. And when it's hot, it's, you know, been over 90 degrees like every day. When it's hot, that one feels nice and cool to work with in your hands. So that's probably the one I would like to finish. So yeah, I think that is it. I feel like I talked a long time. So like I said, keep note if you would like to learn Tunisian crochet and are in the area. August 5th, be looking for that when it comes up on Arkansas Yarn Co.'s website, available for purchase. The Arkansas Yarn Crawl starts next month, so that is a month away. I think July 7th. Don't quote me on that. I have it right here. Okay, no, July 21st. You know what I have the 7th in my head is the Arkansas Yarn Co. retreat. We've been working on the retreat a lot for final details. That is September 7th through 9th. But the Arkansas Yarn Crawl is July 21st through 29th. And also, if you watched my podcast last week, I mentioned Charming You, Maureen's yarn, and she has a coupon code for us to use right now. I will put it below. So please go show her some love. Her yarn is spectacular. I'm actually going to see her next week because my daughter and I are going to Dallas. And so we're going to meet up with her and do dinner. So I'm excited to see her again. And I thank you for checking me out. I hope you will stick around, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.